Welcome. Today, we journey into one of history's greatest mysteries, the expedition of Percy Fawcett into the heart of the Amazon in search of the lost city of 𝐍. Lost documents and warnings from unknown tribes would change his destiny forever, transforming his mission into an unsolved legend. Now, let the story begin.
In the heart of the Amazon rainforest, where trees intertwine like natural walls that block the light, where mist slips between branches like cold breaths, and in a world where nothing is heard but the angry sounds of nature, one of history's greatest mysteries lies hidden. A mystery that baffled scientists, ignited the imagination of explorers, and drove one man to give up his life for a city no one had ever seen, yet whose existence he believed in with absolute certainty. A city he named with a single letter, 𝐍. The story may sound like a chapter from an adventure novel, but it is real in every detail. The people are real, the documents exist, the places are known, and the disappearance truly happened. This tale begins with Percy Harrison Fawcett, the British explorer who challenged the Amazon repeatedly until it finally swallowed him without ever returning him. Fawcett was born in London in 1867, but he was not a man who loved cities. He was obsessed with the unknown, fascinated by places feared by others, and he saw the blank spaces on maps as opportunities to write his own history. He served as an artillery officer, then worked in border surveying in South America, where he first encountered the Amazon that would later become his destined fate. From 1906 to 1920, Fawcett undertook several expeditions into the jungle. Each time he returned to Britain, he carried stories of a lost stone city deep within the Amazon. He heard these accounts from hunters and local tribes. However, the most important discovery that fell into his hands was an old Portuguese document dating back to the 18th century, describing a great city built of stone, with tall buildings and complex architecture. From that moment on, he became convinced of the existence of an unknown city surpassing anything Europeans knew about South American civilizations. He named it 𝐍, believing it could change the world's understanding of the continent's history. In 1925, Fawcett decided to embark on what he said would be his final and decisive expedition. He took with him his son Jack and his friend Rimmel, convinced that this time he was close to discovering the city. Before leaving, he wrote a moving letter to his wife Nina, saying, "Do not worry, Nina. I feel we are close to the goal, and everything is going as it should. Trust me." It was the last letter she ever received from him. Fawcett and his companions entered the Amazon, crossing dense forests, muddy regions, and areas where sunlight never reached. After weeks of progress, they arrived at a region inhabited by the 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿 tribe. The tribe received them with cautious kindness, offered them food and water, and allowed them to rest in their camp. The tribe's people watched them with anxious looks, as if they knew something they did not want to say. After 2 days, the tribal elders met with Fawcett and gave him a clear warning. They told him, "Do not go east. The land there is very dangerous." They pointed to forbidden areas inhabited by hostile tribes and sacred lands no one was allowed to enter. The warning was sincere, but Fawcett was unwilling to turn back. He told them he would not stop because he was nearing his goal. The following morning, Fawcett gathered his light equipment, bid farewell to the tribe, and headed east with his son and his friend toward the region the tribe had described as the most dangerous place to approach. That was the last day he was ever seen alive. 2 days after the 3 men departed, women from the tribe said they heard strange sounds coming from the direction Fawcett had taken. They were faint, intermittent screams. After that night, nothing was ever heard again. Days passed, then months, then years, without finding any trace. No body, no weapon, no bag, not even a piece of cloth. Dozens of expeditions went out searching for him. Some returned empty-handed, some disappeared, and some came back sick and injured. But the truth never emerged. His wife Nina continued to believe he was alive. She always said Percy does not die, that he is somewhere waiting to return. She held on to this belief for 50 years until she passed away without ever receiving a single answer. But the surprise came in modern times. Thanks to LiDAR technology, which reveals the ground beneath forests, scientists discovered massive cities hidden under the trees in Bolivia and Brazil. Straight roads, geometric structures, circular plazas, and complex urban systems. Scientists named this discovery the 𝐃𝐈𝐒 civilization, an advanced culture that lived in the heart of the Amazon 2,000 years ago. Fawcett's name resurfaced once again. Researchers began to ask, was 𝐃𝐈𝐒 part of these buried civilizations? Was Fawcett close to uncovering a truth that nature had concealed for centuries? Perhaps Fawcett was a man who saw what others could not. Perhaps he was only days away from proving the city's existence. And perhaps his disappearance was the result of approaching secrets that were never meant to be revealed. As for Civilization Z, it remains a subject of debate among archaeologists. There is a possibility that it still exists somewhere beneath the forest, waiting to be discovered, waiting for someone to tell its story to the world. And as for Percy Fawcett, he has become a legend. The legend of a man who entered the Amazon in search of truth, only to become part of the mystery himself. The ending may remain unknown. The secret may stay buried beneath the roots of the trees, but his story will remain a reminder that the world still hides far greater secrets than we expect.